Do you have questions concerning planning a Disney trip? Ask them live on the show or submit them on our website at patmdisneytravel.wixsite.com/planning. Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's Matt with the DPI podcast. We've got a great show for you tonight. Peter with Princesses and the Mouse Disney Travel is going to be joining us. He's already up and running over on the other screen. We've got some news. We've got a top three, maybe a DPI Deep Dive, maybe a combination of the two, maybe one or the other. We're going to talk about it on stream. And then the lunacy that always comes with our shows. So stick with us. We'll see you here in a little bit. Hi, I'm Matt. Welcome to Disney Planning Insights. Through creative content and live shows, we explain the hidden details of the Disney experience so that our clients can execute memorable adventures. Together with Princesses and the Mouse Disney Travel, we have helped hundreds of clients plan, book, and prepare for magical Disney vacations. Let our experience help you avoid common planning mistakes and maximize the enjoyment on your next Disney trip. It's another Tuesday, so that means it's a DPI Live night. I'm Matt with the DPI podcast. Thanks for joining us. If you haven't been here before, definitely check out that like and subscribe button for us. And look at some of the other content we have on here. We have a lot of ride videos, parades, fireworks, that kind of stuff. So if you are over on the YouTube page, definitely check that out. If you're not, go over to the YouTube page, Disney Planning Insights, and you can check out a bunch of our stuff. This is video number 300 that we've put up. So yeah, pretty cool milestone to get to. So, like I said in the soft intro, we've got Peter with Princesses and the Mouse Disney Travel. Not a huge news week, but we've got a lot leading up to next week, which is going to be a little bit more of a prolonged show with the new EPCOT show debuting next week. So we will have that live for you guys next Tuesday. So let me go ahead and bring on Peter from Princesses of the Mouse Disney Travel, and we will get into the news. Mr. Salvadori, how you doing tonight?
Oh, I'm so good it should be illegal.
You have a good Thanksgiving?
Yeah, we didn't really do all that much. How about you? I know you all travel around all over the place.
Yeah, we had a good Thanksgiving. Your turkey looked fantastic. The little slow cooker turkey.
Oh yeah.
You smoked it. That looked fantastic.
Yeah, I've done that the last couple of years, and that produces a good turkey, I'll tell you what.
Yeah, we had some good turkey. Michigan was good. We got our first real snow up there, and watched a bunch of idiots not know how to drive. So
we had snow this morning here.
Yeah, we did. So
there was a little bit. I was out and about prior to 6 a.m. Thank you, son who swims, and it was like actually somewhat accumulating on the roads a little bit. So not ready for that. Not even a little bit. Which makes me even more excited about a couple weeks from now when I'm already looking at my weather apps going, is it projecting out that far? No, not yet.
10 days, my brother. So, all right. Well, let's go ahead. Let's jump into the news. Like I said, not a lot of news this week, so shouldn't take us too long to get through it.
Are you part of Pierogi Fest?
Part of what?
The Pierogi Fest that your mom is posting about.
No, I'm not. I am not. That is her out in West Virginia. So, hi, Mom. You're probably watching.
No pierogies for you.
No pierogies for me. She came out for Thanksgiving, left Thanksgiving. She got her blueberry waffles and took off, so.
East out.
All right, news this week. So big news, there's a couple of big things that happened. So first big thing that happened was the Dreamers Point statue was unveiled and installed at EPCOT. They are going to do an official opening of that area next Tuesday, next Monday, next Tuesday. The same day that they're doing the first showing of Luminous.
That makes sense.
So the big thing about that is Communicore Hall still will not be available, so they will have construction barriers on all sides of Communicore Hall, and it still does not have a opening date yet.
They're working.
What's that?
They're working on it. We're getting closer.
We're getting closer, but I mean, this is for a project that really was announced in 2019. We're heading into year 5 of this project, so I mean, this is new Fantasyland all over again.
You can follow around the journey of water. What else do you want? Okay, you got everything.
All right. The other big thing that happened was there was a call today with Bob Iger and the cast. And it was really a tight-lipped, closed call. Not a whole lot of details have leaked out about it. So, interesting to see what does come out from this call. Seemed like it was more of just like a raw call instead of anything that had any really significance. With Disney kind of being on a Twitter X hiatus here, not a whole lot has come out on their side. So yeah, it's just, it's interesting to hear that they're having this type of call. Now, a lot of companies have this, so it's not, I mean, not a huge deal, but for Disney to have one with basically all the cast that could be a part of it, that's a pretty big deal. So, any thoughts on your side, Mr. Salvadori? No?
Nope. Rah.
Okay. On to the other news. So apparently it's okay to get naked and run around in Small World at Disneyland. Now what makes this even crazier is The Simpsons predicted this.
What haven't The Simpsons predicted at this point?
They've predicted basically everything that's ever happened in the world.
Yeah. When you're writing shows, you just write a bunch of outlandish stuff, and at some point you're going to be right.
It keeps happening.
I laughed about my favorite thing about this, and I'm trying to find it again because I didn't read it too long ago, so I'm sitting here trying to find it. Universal released a photo of maybe one of their maybe a reindeer that goes around their park during the holiday time, and basically Universal, it said something to the effect of, so and so doesn't have pants on, but that doesn't mean that you shouldn't. And so well played Universal for just tossing a quick little moment of shade the way of Disney as a result of this.
Yes, lots of shade being thrown Disney's way. Now this brings
I don't
into
understand what possesses somebody to take their pants off on Small World, though.
This brings into a conversation about ride safety and the reason that these are zero restraint rides, basically, and this kind of stuff can happen because we've had this on Small World, we've had this on Living with the Land multiple times now.
Well, yeah, that's people getting off and trying to pick produce.
Yeah, so I think he was picking his produce too.
Oh, jeez. Well, that is not unheard of. That happens more regularly than the news reports. There are plenty, not blown up to such proportion reports of, people getting a little bit too friendly on the People Mover and people getting a little bit too friendly in the Doom buggies and all that stuff. So this is just in the long line of exactly like you said. I mean, the ride has no restraints. So you give people no restraints and people will show no restraint.
Not So Scary is about to be sold out. Only
Very
one day-
merry, he means.
What's that? Very Merry. Yes. Not So Scary, Very Merry. Not So Scary was sold out anyway. Very Merry Christmas Party only has one date available now, and it's December the 14th. Yeah. So, if you're planning on going, you probably should figure that out.
We're not doing that, though. We talked about it.
Yeah.
We're not,
Yeah.
we're not doing that. We could, because that is the day that we arrive.
There you go. There you go. New deal in Disneyland for Southern California residents. Basically,
a 3-day $75 ticket. That's just nuts.
$75 per day, but still, it's $75.
That's what I mean.
And it's
Right,
it's for the first half of the year.
Yeah, right. When do you want to go?
Yeah, it's January 2nd through June 2nd. So, yeah.
On that topic, just since we're talking about travel, there is a deal that it's a pretty good deal, and it's for like the first quarter of the year down at Disney World, and you have to book by like December 14th or something like that. So those of you listening, if you're thinking about the early spring into April, May time, you want to get on that because there's a deal that is set to expire. I remember reading it the other day, but yeah, basically it's book by December 14th or something like that, December 15th, in order to take advantage of that deal. So you always want to take advantage of as many possible deals to get the best possible price down there. I just rebooked. The whole reason why, like, just going with a travel professional, that has a decent amount of Disney, because there's plenty of us out there. But there's plenty of travel professionals that don't really Disney, but they'll book your Disney for you. So having somebody that's a little bit more Disney focused, Disney centric, if you will, knowing those deals, because a deal released, I jumped on and I saved a client like, something like $700.
Yeah, you also have the up to $1,000 Disney dining promo card on non-discounted tickets.
Mm-hmm.
Last chance to book by December 15th, 2023. Save up to 25% on rooms at select Disney resorts in early 2024.
That's the one I was talking about.
Yeah, and that's January 9th through March the 24th.
Yeah, they also have the kids stay and play, or dine and eat, or dine and dash, or whatever.
Play and dine.
Yeah, there we go. I was like, I know it involves tickets and dining.
Dine and dash.
Yeah,
kids,
I like
run!
That. I like that. The Disney's Kids Dine and Dash. So yeah, basically you can throw some kids onto your reservation, and they don't cost you anything on a full price reservation for everybody else. But that's still a pretty good deal, depending on how long you're going. I think it's on like a 3-day or 4-day. It has to be. So you can't just like bring a kid for a week and a half and have them eat free for a week and a half.
It's 4-night, 4-day.
Yep.
So that includes room at select Disney resort, theme park tickets, and dining plan for arrivals most nights March 3rd through March 24th and April 7th through June 30th. So really a lot of the first half of the year. So
yeah, except for the really busy spring break time.
Yep.
Same. So have you seen, since it hasn't been brought up yet, and I figured it would be kind of one of your first things, there is a bill that has been introduced into the Florida legislature to basically absolve the oversight committee that DeSantis created.
Yeah, I saw this.
In the tourism district.
Yeah, Scott Gustin posted it today. It was put together by Linda Stewart, that would repeal DeSantis' takeover of Reedy Creek Improvement District. The bill is on Landon McReynolds' Twitter page, and it's a 2-page bill, it looks like. Let's see if I
That's a pretty short bill, actually.
Yeah. Sometimes those are the best ones.
Right.
Da, 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 da.
I thought that was very interesting that Disney posts their report of all that they do for the economy of Florida, and then all of a sudden, not a couple of weeks later, a legislator goes, "Yeah, why don't we just let them do their own thing? Why don't we stop pissing them off? That might be a good idea."
Yeah. It's just going to be something that we watch through, and it's going to be through next year, because they're going to let it drag on through the presidential stuff until DeSantis is either the nominee or drops out, and then it's not going to be a big deal, and that'll be the end of it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think he's going to be the nominee, but VP candidate is highly likely.
Yeah. So, but I mean, past that, not a whole hell of a lot more news going on. Do you have anything else that you're seeing from around the parks?
No, not really. You got the no more bears. I haven't seen any bears lately.
No bears lately. Well, there will be some bears over in Zootopia in Hong Kong. They released their outfits, their cast member outfits today, and that's over all on Disney Parks blog. So if you want to check those out, lots of purples, lots of blues. Nick Wilde and Officer Hops are with them. So they're going to be things that you recognize from the movie. I mean,
Officer Wilde.
Oh, he is Officer Wilde in this one. He is. Disney ends their 10-day hiatus. It was kind of like our Twitter ban. They were gone for a little while, and then they came back.
Ta-da!
Ta-da! All right. Well, that was the news, and we got 2 minutes to spare, which is awesome because we've got top 3 coming up. So if you've been a part of top 3, great. If you haven't been a part of top 3, well, you're going to get to be a part of it now. So
get ready.
Here we go. Business trip.
Did the people move around?
It does tingle a little bit. So this could be interesting because we do have the news timer running in the background, so we might get a sound and things that don't really go with the top 3, but whatever. Hey, welcome to DPI Top 3. I'm Matt with the DPI Podcast. Over on the other side, Peter with Princesses and the Mouse, Disney Travel. And it's top 3 time. If you've been here before, you know what we're about to get ourselves into. If you haven't been in here before, get ready because we're about to get ourselves into something. And it's a lot of fun. So what we do is we pull a chip out of this bag. It corresponds with a category over on the spreadsheet. And we have 30 seconds to figure out what our top 3 are for that category. So I liked yours from last week. Things we should be thankful for at Disney. But it didn't make it. So we're going to do number 9 this week. Number 9. Next week, we might have autofocus lenses. Watch out. Top 3 ideas. Number 9. Number 9. This is one of J-Bo's. Here's our 30 seconds left in the thing. So, I hear it. Here we go. Top 3 tonight is going to be our favorite animatronics. You got a thinking face.
Yeah, I'm going through all the animatronics. That's
All right.
a lot.
There are. So, you've got like 24 seconds.
Thinking about taking a trip to Disneyland, Disney World, maybe a Disney cruise, or one of the other amazing Disney destinations? Contact me at Princess of the Mouse, and I'd love to work with you on your itinerary to the most magical places in the world.
You can contact Princesses and the Mouse Disney Travel on Facebook at PATM Disney Travel.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. This is gonna be an interesting one because surely we're gonna miss a really, really good one in this.
There's so many animatronics in Disney. Like that's literally like what set Disney apart from everyone else.
Yeah.
Was the ability to machine animatronics. Like that's
You can't just walk away on this one. Come on.
I'm out. Forget it. I'm not even trying. I got my number 1. I think I got my number 2. And like for number 3, you literally like, are we talking realism? Are we talking scale? Are we talking just nostalgia? Because I just, wow. Do I have to say like an individual animatronic, or can I just be like the ones over at Bling?
I really think we should keep this to individual animatronic.
Individual animatronics. Singular robotic units adding experience to Disney World.
Yes.
That's wild.
Yes.
Can I use Disneyland?
I guess so. Since you have that experience, I think that's fair.
All right, I'm going with my number 3.
Okay,
so
go for it.
My number 3 favorite animatronic, and I can say it because it's at Disneyland, but it's soon to be at Disney World. See, is going to be the Hatbox Ghost animatronic in Haunted Mansion.
Okay.
The Hatbox Ghost animatronic, obviously, Hatbox Ghost is one of the more iconic aspects of Haunted Mansion, featured in lots of their apparel and other things. And he has been sadly missed over in Disney World, but he's never really disappeared from Disneyland. And so as you are coming out of the Constance's room, for those of you in the know, as you're coming out of her room right before you head down to the graveyard at Disneyland, Hatbox Ghost is sitting there. And it's really cool because they have a screen on his face, and then he's holding his hat box, and they have a screen in there. And so what I love about this animatronic is it's incredibly animated in all of the gestures and things that it does. But one of the things that I love about it is the face swap, that it will pop down to the box and then pop back to the face. And while it's in the box, it'll be doing all sorts of stuff. And very, very excited because Disney did announce that they are machining a Hatbox Ghost for the Haunted Mansion in Florida as well. So for those of you in the know, have been to the California, Hatbox Ghost is probably one of your favorites in that ride, and I am looking forward to him joining the Happy Haunts. He is not technically the 1,000th because he was one of the original 999 Happy Haunts. He then left for a bit, and he is just returning. They did clarify that. So I'm looking forward to seeing him back in Disney World as well. And I'm hoping similar mechanics to the animatronic, which, based on the concept art, it looks like it's going to be.
Yeah.
So, Matt, tell me about your third favorite animatronic.
So my number 3 is going to be Mr. Potato Head in the Toy Story Midway Mania ride.
Good one. That could have been number 1.
It could have, and there's a few different reasons that this one is really, really good. So the first one is it's huge. I mean, it is an enormous Mr. Potato Head, and great movement, great reaction, great expression with this character. But also what makes this one very interesting is there is an AI component in this animatronic as well. So for years and years and years, I thought that there was a camera with a guy that just picked up on things and interacted with the crowd that was going through the queue. I recently found out that it is actually a computer program that picks up on body types and builds and colors and clothing, and that's how it interacts with the crowd, which is absolutely amazing. So as you're walking through, it will point out and talk to people in the line as they're walking through, which is absolutely fantastic. So you've got the big eyes. The big eyes give you all the emotion. Hands are flailing around. He wiggles from side to side. Really, really good animatronics. So my number 3 is Mr. Potato Head over at Midway Mania in Toy Story Land. So, Peter, what is your number 2?
You know, I was gonna go with one that's way too specific, so I'm gonna bring it to one of my favorite animatronics, and this is why I was asking the question of, like, do I have to pick a specific one, or can I just speak in generalities? Oh my gosh, I love the animatronics in Frozen Ever After. But because you told me I have to pick a specific animatronic, I am going with Sven in Frozen Ever After. Like, there's a lot of great animatronics in Frozen Ever After. They all have the 3D face mapping technology that super increases the realism in what they can do. From the second Olaf kind of meets you, but in that same scene, you have Sven, and his antlers are all dangled up in the what are ultimately icicles, but they're all lit. And so you first see Sven there, all kind of like goofy, dangled, like kind of tangled up in these icicle lights. And then I was going to go with a super obscure one. I was going to go with the little guy that pops up and goes, "You're going to the castle, Lucky." But then you get to the top of the hill, and then Sven is up at the castle, at the ice castle that you're about to go in and see Elsa. And Olaf's there again, and then Anna and Kristoff are there. But then Sven, like a little doof, has got his tongue stuck to a piece of the ice castle and is just sitting there going, just makes the ride for me. So I love Sven in the couple of spots that he shows up in the Frozen Ever After ride. But again, huge shout out to all those animatronics. I know people of the classic people who just still lament the Maelstrom. I enjoyed Maelstrom, but Frozen Ever After is absolutely the experience that belonged in Norway. Even despite how great Maelstrom was on its own with the Vikings in there, Frozen Ever After is a remarkable experience that is one of obviously the big family-friendly attractions over at EPCOT. So specifically Sven in the Frozen Ever After attraction is my number 2 favorite animatronic.
All right. Now that's a good one. I'm going to go with a really specific one as well. And it's one that you kind of have to be in a certain area to get the full effect of. And I'm going to go with Niem Num, who pilots your transport in Rise of the Resistance. So
that's a good animatronic.
It is a fantastic animatronic, and it's missed by a lot of people because as you kind of pack in there, if you go to the back to where you're by the windows where you can see out and see everything that's kind of going on outside in space, you completely miss this fantastic animatronic that they've put up in the front of this cabin. And it's turning around, it's piloting the ship, it's going into alert mode. It's just a really, really well done, and it's one of the newer style, what they call those, the A1000 animatronics, I think. So
yeah,
it's
that
got
sounds right.
really good joint articulation and all that kind of stuff. But it's just a really, really fantastic animatronic up there. So if you do get the chance, as you come out of the room with Ray and BB-8 and get onto that transport, get up towards the front and check out that animatronic while you're in there. So, who got Peter and the impressions again? So, you got another.
You know what? You tell your mom to bring me some pierogies. Because I know who made that comment. I don't even need to see it. Yeah, bring me some of them onion. I think there's some onion pierogies. You send them my way.
All right. Let's go ahead. Let's get to our number 1. But before we give yours, where can people find you at, Peter?
So it was funny. I typed in Peter Salvadori into Google earlier today, and the third link was Princess and the Mouse Travel Company. And then, like, the fifth link was Moments of Adventure Travel. Ta-da! But that third link brings you to my Facebook page, which is where you will find me, waiting to meet with you. Click on message through there, read some client reviews. I've deleted all the bad ones. I'm just kidding. There aren't any bad ones. Now, I'm not promising the world, but at least I'm going to do what I can for you to get you prepared for your trip. Yeah, find me there. Would love to talk to you. Like I've said on the show a few times, very, very busy next couple of months, but then I really free up. There's not a lot of spring break travel. I expect that to pick up. And so before the first of the year, kind of notch out my time so that I'm working for you, because at some point, too much is too much, and it won't happen as well. So notch out your time so that I can make your amazing spring break trip happen for you, because booking windows for your spring break trips are going to be in January and February. So do not shuffle your feet. Although if you ask one of my clients who keep going, even their first trip, even though they called me about 45 days prior to when they wanted to go, I still made quite a lot happen, which is why they're now on trip 6. They told me after their first trip, they said, "Oh my gosh, we had so much fun. We're going to definitely go back every year." And now they've gone like 6 times in 3 years. So told me after their first trip, they said, "Every year, my butt." It's time for my number one.
It is.
You already know what my number one is. So I hope it's not your number one.
I don't think so, but give me what you got.
Yeah. So my number one, I have talked about it on this show before, which makes it one of my favorite ride experiences. Truthfully, it's really the only real reason to even go on this ride. And it is also the most elaborate and most expensive A1000 animatronic that Disney has ever machined in their shop. And that is going to be the Na'vi Shaman in Na'vi River Journey. Like, if that doesn't make our 6 between his 3 and my 3, we didn't do it good.
Yeah.
Realistically, right? Like, how does that not make a top 6 between your 3 and my? It has to. It is my number one. It is the first thing I wrote down. I wrote down FEA for Frozen Ever After, and then Shaman immediately upon my timer, because that's the first one that came to my mind, because it is stunning the first time that you see it live and in person. You hear it from quite a distance away. You turn this bend Pocahontas style. It has nothing to do with Na'vi. I was just referencing just around the river bend, because I'm on River Journey. And so I turn this corner, and larger than life, because the whole idea behind the Na'vi is that, like, they're approximately like 8 to 9 feet tall. And so a human is kind of like nearing their shoulder in the movies. When the actual RDA is kind of fighting the Na'vi, you see that they need the mechs in order to, like, get larger than the Na'vi. And I mean, this thing is just massive. This thing is absolutely massive. Let me see if I can find the height of it. Height of Na'vi Shaman animatronic. Let's see. 10 feet tall, this thing, like from foot to head, and then an impressive wingspan to match that.
Yeah.
I mean, this, and then put that on top of, like, you're kind of in this black light bioluminescent environment. You've got all of these, like, drums and things that she's banging on, and they're all lighting up as she's singing her song. I mean, it is truly one of the more visually stunning experiences in any of the Disney parks, Disney World especially. So that is going to be my number one. Matt, what is your number one animatronic?
Now,
Mickey in the car at Mickey and Minnie Runaway Railway. I'm just
no. So we're gonna leave out a great one here. So
you better bring it up.
Smuggler's Run.
Hondo Ohnaka almost made my list.
Yeah, is a fantastic animatronic, but that is not my number one. My number one, Shannon brought it up in the chat. I'm 100% on board with her. It is the Johnny Depp Jack Sparrow at the end of Pirates of the Caribbean.
I had Pirates of the Caribbean on my list as well. And then I went with Hatbox Ghost. And yeah, definitely Hondo, Pirates. Yeah.
Yeah,
really
you can't go wrong with
ride.
You can't go wrong with either one, but that upgrade to the end of Pirates was fantastic and really brought the ride full circle and brought in the new version of the franchise really well in the rides. And they've done it in Paris. They've done it. What's that?
You could do this thing I did with Sven, because not just at that very end, but throughout the ride, it now makes Pirates the story of it makes a tale of Jack Sparrow versus
exactly, which is exactly what a newer generation riding that ride needed. So no, it's just a really good ride. They really did a great job with the room as well, because the treasure room is now a true treasure room. And then you've got a really good animatronic on the chair, kind of rocking back and forth. You're waiting for it to just fall backwards, because that would be the most Jack Sparrow thing to happen, for him to just fall back and disappear over the pile of coins. And it's just a really good one. So so my number one is a quick one to discuss, but Jack Sparrow treasure room in Pirates of the Caribbean. So, if you want your top three to be on our show like J-Bo's was tonight, go to the website, patmdisneytravel.wixsite.com/planning, and send us your recommendation for a top three in that little text box in the top right-hand corner. But from there, fantastic top three, Peter. Let's go ahead and let's get into a Disney.
I think that was a good top three with very little room for debate, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I think we got him.
There we go. Hey, there I am. What's going on, everybody? It's Matt with the DPI podcast. It's deep dive time. My camera just didn't turn back on. It was like, okay, we're gonna do the transition, and then we're not gonna do anything else. Awesome. So, deep dive. We're gonna pick out a random restaurant, ride, or resort from around Walt Disney World property, and we are going to deep dive it. And today we are doing random category number 2, and that is going to be a classic, a good one. It is Peter Pan's Flight. It's time to deep dive. What's going on, everybody? It's Matt with the Disney Planning Insights podcast, and Peter with Princess of the Mouse Disney Travel, and it is time to deep dive. Peter, tonight we are doing Peter Pan's Flight, and this is a very, very classic ride found in most of the parks, but we're going to focus on the one at Walt Disney World. So why don't you tell everybody where this ride is?
So this one, very simply, there is if you have ever been to Magic Kingdom on even a remotely busy day, you know what I mean when I say it is the ride across from Small World in the choke point.
Yes.
Yeah. Like, if you have ever been to Walt Disney World on an even remotely busy day, you know that there is one spot in the park that you avoid, and it is the narrowing of the path where you have Small World on one side, Peter Pan's Flight on the other side. Now, where that is kind of in the Magic Kingdom, we look at the castle, we go up the side path to the castle, we then see the carousel, and we hang a left away from Seven Doors Mine Train, and we will find Peter Pan's Flight right there. If coming from the other area of the park, we walk towards Haunted Mansion and then turn right towards the Rapunzel restrooms, and there it is just up the path on the right. The two different ways that you will approach Peter Pan's Flight. So that is where it is located. What should we talk about next? Probably the ride experience.
Yeah, so ride experience, Omni Mover, but in a special way. So you're going to board a pirate ship with a above ride rail, and you are basically in a suspended car through this ride experience. So a couple of cool things to notice as you're getting on and getting off. They do not necessarily put the lap bar down on you. They use pixie dust for the bar to lower and to raise the bar when you get off. Cool little touch to add to your experience on the ride. So as I said before, you're flying in a pirate ship and you leave the darling London area and you kind of ride your way through a few different rooms with scenes from the animated movie, the lagoon, the Indian gathering, the pirate ship, that kind of stuff, and just kind of make your way through the scenes. This was an original opening day ride at Magic Kingdom.
Fun fact, it was not open on opening day. It opened 2 days later.
On the 3rd. Yeah, it was there. Yeah. It was there to be opened.
It was there. It was almost ready. It wasn't quite ready. Okay. So it is typically counted in the opening day attractions at Magic Kingdom. But fun fact is that it actually first started welcoming guests to it 2 days later on October 3rd of 1971. So fun little factoid there.
Yeah. Now talk about the big change that they made a few years ago to the queue area.
Yeah. And it was a welcome change, by the way, because the queue area to this was just very bland. And now the queue area is what we did a top three, I don't know, a month or two ago. And our top three prompt was favorite ride queues.
Yeah.
And this made it. This was one of yours. Just to bring that up. So feel free to jump back in to that top three video. I don't know if we have ride footage of this, so maybe we link that top three video where we talked about this. But I digress. The ride queue is wonderful. So you walk in and you kind of start walking in, and ultimately you find yourself in the hallways of the Darling home with artwork on the walls depicting various scenes from the movie. There's a moment where you kind of like step outside and you have Nana by the doghouse, and you're kind of in the back alleyways of a London home. And then you step back in and you work your way into the kids' bedrooms. And that's where it's a lot of fun because Tinkerbell is kind of dancing along with you and interacting with you in the dressers and the bed and the wall artwork and all of this stuff as you kind of move your way through that room. Totally, like full honesty though, boy, waiting in that ride queue, it's a hefty ride queue for the ride that you get, because Peter Pan's Flight is one of those nostalgic, like, family favorites. It's one of those classics that you just gotta do. And at the same token, Matt talked about the ride vehicle. it is an Omni mover, but it has far less than other Omni movers like the Haunted Mansion or Little Mermaid or Seas with Nemo and Friends. The list goes on. Those pirate ships are relatively large, and at most they fit 2 adults and a small child. Right? And so they're relatively large, and there are not many of them on the track. And then you couple that with the advent of Lightning Lane, and those ride times for Peter Pan's Flight very easily get up to the 60 to 90 minute range, which you can give me the best queue in the world, but when I'm waiting an hour for approximately a 1.5 minute ride, Matt, you can find the exact ride time, but it's not much more than that. So I do recommend, if you have the ability, if you do buy Lightning Lane, if you do buy that Genie Plus for your Magic Kingdom Day, that make this one of the 4 to 5 that you can probably get to. Definitely a good idea. When you first log in, obviously grab your Seven Dwarfs Mine Train, and then secondly, when you are able to book your next one, probably grab a Peter Pan's Flight, just to avoid those ride lines as those do get quite long. But a very, very enjoyable ride. Like, I love going on it. I just dislike waiting in an extreme amount of time because it is relatively short, but very great. As Matt kind of talked about, you kind of fly up out of the Darling Rooms, which ties the queue right into the ride.
Yeah.
So you fly up out of the Darling Room, you fly over the streets of London, and then ultimately follow that second start of the ride into the Neverland scenes that Matt already kind of talked about before, seeing Hook in quite a predicament by the end.
Where does this fit when we're talking about, like, I'm trying to figure out a good category to put this in. Let's say Omni Mover and boat rides at Magic Kingdom.
Boat rides. I do not classify this.
Well, and I understand that, but when you're talking about Omni Mover rides at Magic Kingdom, you've got Haunted Mansion, you've got
Buzz Lightyear.
Oh, Buzz Lightyear.
Little Mermaid.
Okay.
You throw Small World into there.
Tomorrowland Transit.
Pirates of the Caribbean. Do we throw Pirates in? Since you said and boat ride.
Yeah. So where does this kind of rank?
Rides. You're describing dark rides, right?
Yeah.
So dark ride, you get in, you go into a ride building.
Yeah. Let's just go with that. Let's just go with that then. Okay. Where does this fit in kind of your hierarchy at Magic Kingdom of dark rides? You're gonna have probably Pirates and Haunted Mansion above it.
I was about to. That is exactly where I was going to go with this statement. I put it third, exactly like you just said, and kind of led to Pirates and Haunted Mansion just for overall ride experience. But then the nostalgia factor kicks in, and this is above Winnie the Pooh in my opinion. This is above Buzz Lightyear Space Ranger Spin is gimmicky.
Yeah.
With the advent of toy out in Hollywood, and I would ride this all day over Small World. I will turn into this queue all day, every day, over Small World. So yeah, I think that's a pretty good spot. Little Mermaid is a good ride as well, and so this probably, like, it and Little Mermaid kind of put themselves in that same, like, it's not Pirates and Haunted, but it's not Small World.
Yeah.
And I'm sure there's some Small World lovers out there like, forget him. But okay. My wife knows she's allowed one per trip, and sometimes she doesn't even get that. But she knows if we go on it, you don't ask again, because it's not happening again.
No. Anything else with Peter Pan's Flight that people should know about?
No, it's a family-friendly ride, which is wonderful. Disney has tons of experiences and rides. The biggest knock against the Cedar Fair company and the Six Flags company and the Universal company is the lack of rides, the very limited selection of things for younger kids to do. So this is one of those. You could take a newborn baby on this thing, hold it in your arms, and ride Peter Pan's flight.
Yep.
So there is no such thing as a group that cannot ride Peter Pan. You do board walking on a conveyor belt, but they are able to stop that conveyor belt for accessibility issues, of course, to get you onto this thing. So there is really not a guest at Disney World that is unable to ride Peter Pan's flight, which does make it great, regardless of your accessibility concerns or the age of the people in your group. Something that everybody can enjoy without having to deal with rider swapping and whatever else. So I guess that's the last point to make.
Yeah, and I think my last point is going to be that, you know, if you do find yourself at one of the other parks that has a Peter Pan's flight, they are all different in some way. Some subtly, some not so subtly. So definitely worth riding it park to park. You know, we went over to Paris this year. Peter Pan's flight over there, very, very different than the one here. So it was really cool to kind of see the differences and to be able to compare and contrast. Kind of, yeah, it's the same type of ride, but it is a very different experience the way that they present it there compared to how they did it here. So,
and on that kind of topic, Peter Pan's flight is one of the very few remaining unaltered opening day attractions that it was operational in 1955 at the opening of Disneyland. So that is definitely worth noting about Peter Pan's flight. Very, very untouched through the years. You know, I think about other rides over there, and they have gotten overhauls and kind of remakes and things along those lines. Snow White over in Disneyland recently went through a remake and made it much more upbeat and enthusiastic versus let's go watch Snow White die as it used to be. It really was. That's not a...
Well, that's how the one in Paris is, too. I mean, you get to the end and you're like, whoa.
You didn't make it to the kiss there, buddy. Yeah. So, you know, basically everything else over in Disneyland has undergone kind of big overhauls, but Peter Pan has withstood the test of time, which is really awesome, right? 1955... It's 2023, almost 2024. We are at the close of 2023. We are almost at 70 years since Disneyland first opened. I cannot wait to see the 70-year celebration out there in California here in 2025.
Yeah, no, it's gonna be a lot of fun. Well, Peter, thank you very much for joining us tonight for a deep dive. Everybody else, definitely check out our top 3 we're going to link to here. And as soon as we can get a good ride video of Peter Pan's flight, we will post that as well. So thank you guys all for...
Dirty. It's hard to like...
It is. You almost need a gimbal and a really good autofocus high aperture camera. So
yeah, you need tons of light.
Yeah. So we'll get it when we get it. But thank you guys all for watching tonight, making it all the way through the show. Let's get into the outro. Peter with Princesses and the Mouse, Disney Travel, joined us tonight. We had a new segment, a top 3 about our favorite animatronics, and a deep dive on Peter Pan's flight. Check them out. Social media, you can find us a bunch of different places. The easiest is going to be over on Facebook at DPI Podcast for the show, at PATM Disney Travel for the travel site. Over on Twitter, you can find us at Disney Insights. That's where we do most of our engagement. And on YouTube, you can find us the Disney Planning Insights podcast. Thank you guys for everything you do, all the likes, shares, comments. Thank you for being a part of the show. Have a good week, and we will talk to you next